Good afternoon. It's 80 degrees in Kansas City. And as you can see, I have strawberries in front of me. And I am preparing to put these in the freeze dryer. Now I've already washed these strawberries. And what we need to do is to take the hulls off and cut them in half and place them on the trays. And this can be a long and tedious process. And it turns your fingers all pink. And that's why sometimes I just prefer to buy my freeze-dried strawberries at Thrive Life. If the strawberries have been harvested, let's say the day after rain, they'll have a lot more water in them than if it's been dry for 3 or 4 days before you harvest them. So people keep asking, how long does it take to freeze dry the strawberries? Well, it takes just as long as it takes. There's no formula to know exactly how much water there is in a strawberry or how much water has already left the strawberry. So you just have to put it in and turn the freeze dryer on and wait till the strawberries get dry. And that can take several hours. Or sometimes if the strawberries don't have much moisture, it might not take as long as you think. It all depends on the strawberry, the humidity in the room, very many different factors. But as long as you freeze dry them till they're completely dry in the freeze dryer, then they will last for a good long time. Now this one has a little bald spot, and I'm going to take it out, and I'm not going to put it in my freeze dryer. I'm going to put it in the pot to make jelly out of that gets cooked, so that I know that there isn't any bad little grumbies in it that anybody can get sick from. If you want to make jams and jellies, that is a very good way to use strawberries. But the freeze dryer is really the best, or just plain in the deep freeze. But when you take them out of the deep freeze, lots of times they'll be soggy, and it has to be okay with your recipe for them to be soggy when they thaw out. If you freeze dry them individually on a cookie sheet in the freeze dryer and then put them in a Ziploc bag or something, lots of times they'll come out looking pretty nice and tasting pretty good, but then when they get past that almost thawed out to really thawed out, they start getting mushy. So freeze drying to me is the best way to preserve strawberries, because I personally don't want sugar in them, so I don't like making jams and jellies, something that you have to put a lot of sugar in. You can put pre-frozen produce in the freeze dryer, and this will cut down on your freeze drying time, because the first thing the freeze dryer does is to freeze the produce, freeze the strawberries or whatever. And so when I'm preparing each tray, as each tray is finished, I put it in the freezer. Now the last tray I'm just now finishing, so it's not frozen. So when I set up the freeze dryer, I'm going to tell it it's not frozen, because it'll have to have time for this one to freeze completely. And I have one of the pillows, and it goes in completely behind your little black rubber. Shut the door. Then down here it will say start. I'm going to push start. I'm going to push non-liquid. And I'm going to put not frozen. And I've already closed the valve so I can do continue. That's it. We're waiting until it's done.